Welcome to Perspektives Bank. Today I got a special guest, my friend, my brother, Ari Rastegar. How you doing, my brother?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
They like to talk about the grind in your story. I want to talk about the story before the grind, though.
When you're building a life or building a business, it doesn't happen in days. It happens in decades. But money just amplifies who you are. They don't give a fucking if they don't like you.
Yeah.
Including the old me.
Whoa.
Everybody in your life is very comfortable with the you that they like.
This is a Big Facts Network exclusive.
Welcome to Perspektives Bank. Today I got a special guest, my friend, my brother, Ari Rastegar. How you doing, my brother?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Man, I appreciate you pulling up all the way from Texas.
It's your city, bro. I'm happy to be here.
Nah, for sure. Hey, I want to first I want to check on your mental. Where your mental state at right now?
I've been pushing. As we were talking about a little bit before we started, when you have momentum, you got to go harder. And I've been at this 20-something years, and I feel like just now that it's just now starting to come together at a level that I can take a little bit of enjoyment in. And as that momentum's starting, you got to push. And I'd rather be exhausted at the end of the day doing something I think is worthy than those other years, when I was exhausted delivering pizzas and flipping burgers at Johnny Rockets when I wasn't sure I could wake up the next morning.
Hey, being successful, do that come with more work?
Oh yeah.
Or less work?
Way more.
So when do we rest?
Well, I've thought a lot about, for me, for most of my life, I thought that resting meant being lazy. And that was an incorrect assessment, quite frankly. Rest is about recovery so you can go back and hit it super hard. But I've been admittedly very, very bad at that most of my life. And at this point, as a father of three, having a lot of people that depend on me, millions and millions of square foot of, real estate and buildings and businesses, I take time a little bit more to recover, but not in the normal times I think that people do. If I'm working till 4 or 5 in the morning, sometimes I'll sleep till 11 o'clock in the morning because I find between 8 and 9 in my world, people are just fumbling and fidgeting and getting their coffee and barely getting situated in the office. So I try to rest and recover when everybody else is fake working.
Hey, a lot of people, I watch a lot of your interviews, man. CNN, CNBC, everything, man. Fox News, and they like to talk about the grind in your story. I want to talk about the story before the grind, though.
Yeah, well, it's look, it wasn't that long ago that I was making $2.86 an hour at Double Dave's Pizza. I was very much a late bloomer in a lot of ways. Like, I was off in middle school and high school, and finally my pops, had to say, have one of those crazy dad moments of, it counts from now on. Like, after you turn 18, like, you can't fuck around like this or else, like, you're in big trouble. But so I had to go to community college. I went to 2 different community colleges to learn how to learn, honestly, like learning how to I've always been a big reader. I've been very fortunate, to read from a very, very young age. But I always thought when they said study skills was like a thing, I always thought that was some bullshit class of, something they try to tell you, but it was real. So I had to go through that. And it was very difficult. It was very humbling. I had a very bad speech impediment growing up. I had a very bad lisp, a very bad stutter, which, made people think that I was dumb. And in hindsight, that was a blessing because I went to 7 years of speech therapy to learn how to communicate. And I've come to learn in my life that communication skills, especially in this day and age with all the AI and technology, there's nothing yet that's replacing the human experience of how you communicate with people, how you touch people, how you relate to people. And I think in this day and age, as we become more, more technological, that human experience is the most important thing you could actually learn how to do. And it is a skill. You have to learn how to do public speaking, learn how to communicate. And most of communication is nonverbal, so learning those cues, learning those instincts. So although you and I didn't grow up necessarily on the same street, those instincts that you had to have to survive are very much identical.
Facts. So you say your pops gave you that father-son talk. Do you think, did you get it right away?
He still does.
Did you get it right away, or it took you some time?
Nah, it took some time. Like I said, I was stubborn. I was arrogant, very entitled in hindsight. And, I could give you my sob story of, being the poorest kid in the richest neighborhood. And we all got a story to, make ourselves feel bad about ourselves, which is just an excuse to procrastinate, is what I've learned. But in reality, all of those failures were teaching me how to win.
Nah. So when did you realize, like, nobody's coming to save me?
Man, probably somewhere in college, because, my father went to law school later on in life and did everything he could, to get me along, and, there was a point in, nearing the end of college, he was, giving me monthly money to do stuff, helping pay for college and sending me on a study abroad to Mexico and doing everything he could, as a single dad, dealing with his own stuff to put me in that position. And he made huge sacrifices, to make that possible. But there was a time, as the economy took a bad turn in 2006, 2007, I was in law school, that I realized that it's just me, it's just me. And that was a very, very, very tough moment. And it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't something that was some aha light bulb moment where I was like, oh, okay, great. No one's coming to save me. Let me go get it together. It was a lot of denial, a lot of, well, maybe something's going to happen. Maybe if I do this, I can hit some overnight success and, have some quick fix of something. And that was just such a colossal waste of time because, when you're building a life or building a business, it doesn't happen in days. It happens in decades. And I'll tell you something that I learned from Bill Gates that that really, really hit me hard. He said that we as people overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but we dramatically underestimate what we can do in 10.
Facts. But where I'm from, though, it's like we feel like we're running out of time. I think that's like a part of anxiety, like, because I come from the streets, like hustling on the streets, actually hustling on the streets. So the mentality that came into it, like, shit, bro, I got to hurry up and get it before I go to jail. I got to hurry up and get it before I die. You know what I'm saying? So I think I use that same mentality in the legit world that I'm trying to get away from that. Like, no, Bank, it takes time. That's what I've been on now. Like, be more patient. It takes time because we moving like tomorrow ain't coming. That's how I've been moving.
Well, look, we're all very influenced by our culture and our upbringing.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things that both of us were taught incorrectly is that money is scarce, that there's only a limited amount of money. That's a lie. There is more money in this damn world. Cryptocurrency, gold, silver, money, cash, euro, yen. But we were trained to think that there's always not enough of it. I learned sales, garage sailing with my mother. Okay. My mother is the coldest salesperson that I ever met in my life. Yeah. Like, we'd go to yard sales, on Saturdays, that was our weekends. And she'd find some, little piece of furniture or some little trinket or something. And they'd say it's $5. And she'd say, well, I only got $1 or I only got 50 cents. And would end up buying it for that. And then we'd have yard sales at our house once a month and she'd sell it for $20. And I learned in that process that it's not about the resources that you have. And I know we all think that if I had more resources, if I had more money, but money just amplifies who you are. If you're a dick, you're going to be a bigger dick whenever you have money, period. If you're a kind, generous person, it's just going to amplify it. But it's not about resources. It's about being more resourceful. So what I think about a lot, and you've been a great friend to me, and you know, I remember when we first met, you know, it was a big room of a lot of people that have names, to say the least.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Everybody in that room, I would say, is somebody.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, for sure.
And we don't know each other from Adam, but we have several mutual people that we love in that room.
For sure, for sure.
And within a matter of 5 minutes, we were both standing in the same corner talking. And then 7 hours later, 4 or 5 in the morning, we're still sitting next to each other talking, and people kept coming up. And I equate that right or wrong.
Yeah, nah, you're right.
I mean, exactly right. And someone would come up and pick, oh, I wanted y'all to meet. Oh, you know so-and-so. Oh, yeah. Bank, I wanted you to meet Ari. Ari, I wanted you to meet Bank. And I equate that to, you know, that human condition of, like I said, even though, you know, we weren't raised on that same street, we feel those same feelings and have those same dreams. And that's a lot of why we're sitting here today, because I think about, and you telling me a lot about your background and your upbringing. I thought about it the other day and said, man, what would I do if I was 16, 17, 18 years old on your street?
But what would you do if you was 16, 17, 18 years old on my street, but you knew what you know now?
But
if you had the knowledge you had
damn.
now, what would you do?
I know exactly what I would do, to be perfectly honest. And I'll tell you, if there is anybody listening to this for real, that actually, because a lot of people, you know, they bullshit about wanting their way out. I want this, I'm trying to do that. I'm talking about to the real hustlers, the real ones that are looking for a way out and want to fight for it. This is exactly what you do. You go to whatever neighborhood you're in and you go find the old heads and the OGs, a couple of them, one of them, two of them, the real ones, and you make yourself indispensable to them. You mow their damn lawn, you wash their car, you cook them. I don't give a fuck what it is. Only you know what it is, but you make yourself somebody valuable to those men and women that have wisdom, and you also do the same for the people that they love.
Yeah.
It's their kids, it's their grandma, it's the goddamn neighbor. And you do things for them, whatever it is, so that over time they need you. And when they need you, you become close to the seat of power. I watch the way everybody in that room talks to you. Some of the biggest names in this culture, they came up to you, and I watched the way you generously gave them advice. They asked little questions. When they walked up to you, their shoulders dipped a little bit. You know, they're, you know, walking around like this and stuff. Not when they came up to you. And then you generously gave them a piece of knowledge. They expressed some fear that they have, and you either told them that no or you told them yes, and they would keep coming up. So if I'm in that situation and I'm a young kid, I would come find that person and do whatever I could for them. For my bosses on Wall Street when I first started, I knew that my boss, who's one of the biggest, you know, guys in real estate finance in the world, my wrestling coach introduced me to him. He gave me a shot to build my first big business. And I knew at around 7:15 every morning, he walked out of his apartment on Park Avenue in New York City, and he'd walk down the road to his office. And I made sure that every single day, okay, and Major, my best friend, who you know very well.
Yeah, shouts out to Major.
Shout out to Major Miller, the goat of all goats.
Yeah.
Literally. My life doesn't exist without him. And we've been at it since 7th grade, as you know. Same hustle, there's just more commas and zeros, but it's the same shit. I would make sure that I stood across the street 1 hour before he walked out. just so I could walk with him to work. And I had my job. I was out late. I was doing the things I was doing. And then when he was done with work, I was standing outside of his office just so I could walk with him. He'd drive out to pick up his kids every Thursday, and I would drive him. I was a lawyer, top of my class. I had every excuse in the world to be like, no, I was a grown-ass man. I already had my bachelor's, my PhD, you know. But to be next to him, just to hear him on the phone a little bit, to hear the tones that he used, the stuff that he said. Like that was the education, taking care of his kids. One of his sons, you know, wanted to go see Jay-Z. He was like 16 years old at the time. And he's telling him, he's like, Dad, you know, call your guy that, you know, we can, you know, he's like, I'm not going to a Jay. I'm not going. And I remember saying, I'll take you. First, I wanted to see Hove, but at the same time, you know, but he's like, you'll take me? He's like, and my friend wants to go. And he remember looking at me like, you're going to take my kids to a Jay-Z concert? And I was like, you're damn right I'm going to take, absolutely. And I remember how that relationship, what it meant to him, where he could hang out with his wife, he could go to the dinner that he wanted to, because it's got to be passed down little by little. So finding those people that know, that have walked that path, and all of them know somebody, and one day, just naturally, they're going to pick up the phone for you. They're going to want to do something for you, because people do business with people they like.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what business it is. What
they're gonna find a way.
They're gonna find a way
to do business
with you if they like you. If they don't, I don't give a fuck how good your business plan, your track record, your damn. They don't give a fucking fuck if they don't like you.
Yeah. You're right. So let me ask you something. How important do you think it is to have like a mentor? Just in any type of business.
I think it's absolutely one of the most important things. But, you know, look, you learn in finance that you have assets and you have liabilities. Everyone has both, okay? It's two sides. Something that is worth something, and then it's like in real estate, let's say you buy this building we're in, okay, for $100 million. Well, you have a mortgage on it that's $50 million, okay? So when you sell it, you don't keep the whole $100 million. You got to pay off the debt. You got to give your investors their money back plus their profit. So there's both sides of it. And when it comes to a mentor, okay, there's risks that come along with it, because I don't take advice from anybody that doesn't do what I do or doesn't have a piece of it. They don't need to be in a real estate development, be a lawyer. Nah, like I take advice from you. We talk about things because the instincts that you've had, the things that you have, I can talk to you about certain things. But taking advice or having a mentor that hasn't done what you want or doesn't have a character trait of what you're trying to aspire is very fucking dangerous.
Yeah, you're right.
You go to advice and everyone has opinions, or, you know, everybody's got a damn opinion.
Yes.
But one of my favorite Supreme Court justices, rest in peace, Anton Scalia, doesn't matter, he's a fucking monster. One of the opening lines of one of the Supreme Court decisions, he said, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but they're not entitled to their own facts.
Everybody, hold up. Yeah, you're right.
Everybody,
you can't make up facts.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah.
You know, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got them, but not facts. And so you got to be very selective and that's why I say, back to that point, if you're in a neighborhood, you're trying to find your way out, there's a people that are there that have lived longer, because in your neighborhood, I'd like to believe living into 50, like that's winning the lottery.
You're a dinosaur.
You're a dinosaur. So if that man or that woman is there in that regard, and you get the privilege of speaking to them, because it all goes down when everybody has a boss. I don't give a fuck. Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, the Saudis are that man's boss. He's got shareholders that he answers to. He's got customers of Tesla you answer to. And everybody talks about billions and billions. And I've touched a few myself, and I plan on touching a few 100 million more. But billions starts with bills. And the more that you have, the more land, the more responsibility you have, the more people and the more things that you answer to. So becoming successful or getting to that place doesn't mean that all of a sudden you do whatever the hell you want or whatever, because there's responsibility that comes into what that means. More customers, more shareholders, everybody's got a boss. And the quicker that you realize, and at the very least, if you ain't got a real boss, the big man's sitting up there and he's your big boss if you can't find someone else to answer to.
Let me ask you something. What's some things that like just growing up in an environment and making the mistakes that you learned along the way that you couldn't learn, like from elite education, like from colleges and stuff?
Yeah, that's instincts. Instincts is a very, very, very big one. Look, I think of it like book smarts and street smarts. Okay? And how many times you meet the super smart brainiac with a 4.0 GPA that's a fucking dweeb? It's like a cliche. Like it's all out there. Like, you know, a lot of the professors that are that brilliant, not all of them, because I have some of the best teachers ever in the world, that because they can't do, they teach.
You say so they
Can't do.
Yeah.
So they teach.
Yeah.
You know, there ain't no business professor, you know, around that can teach me I am a business. You know, you can't teach that. That comes from instinct. So there's certain things on the street that you learn about how people operate, how the social intelligence that goes into running a big organization, being the center of attention in whatever neighborhood that you're from. Those develop instincts that you can't really measure. Either you have them or you don't, and the ones that have them, you know they do. That's street. Books teach you how to take those instincts and create systems and processes.
Yes, sir.
So that you can actually implement it and to bring it to reality. So you end up needing both.
Facts. Now, I remember one time you told me you was like, you know, the number one thing you can't teach?
Yeah, I did.
Is hunger. You can't teach hunger. You cannot teach
You
that
cannot teach. And that's why all the kids of rich parents, their parents get all mad and be like, well, why aren't you trying to do whatever? That motherfucker's full.
Yeah, he's
full.
He full.
How are you supposed to eat? Like, I have a tapeworm in my tummy.
Me
like,
too.
no matter what I eat, I'm starving. You can
Me
see
too.
my bones, you know, but
shit.
you know, like, so how you can't, and so you can have all the intelligence in the world. You can have all of the ambition to do this and this, but if you're not hungry, you ain't getting off the couch.
I got to ask this question because it's the time to ask this question. It's 11:11 on 11:11.
God bless.
Who did you have to disappoint to become the man you are today?
Damn. Who did I have to disappoint to become the man that I am today? Everyone. Everyone, including the old me.
Ooh, cook. Turn the stove on. He cooking now.
I'm telling you,
Come on, go ahead.
because everybody in your life is very comfortable with the you that they like. They like to keep your light on the dimmer timer just enough to not outshine them. And I did not work. And people are like, well, he changed. You're goddamn right I changed. You think I worked this hard to stay the same?
I'm telling you.
No, I did change, and I disappointed everybody around me to become this person. Because you know what the funny thing is? People ask me all the time, you know, man, this guy, you know, betrayed me, did this, did that. You know, how do you know who's real? You know who's real by who's around you when you're losing. Because loyalty stays. Stays regardless. And through that disappointment, because, you know, problems, one of the biggest mistakes I think we make as people in general is thinking that we're not supposed to have problems. Problems are the gifts that we grow from. Problems is how God puts us in a position to become the man or the woman to be able to receive those blessings.
Facts.
And you and I talked about this, before, we were talking about, so what would someone do, when they get their first $1,000, their first $10,000 that they've saved up, right?
Yeah.
And what I told you, what I believe is
they should hold it.
They should hold it.
Yeah.
Hold that money.
Yeah.
Don't try to grow the damn thing.
Yeah.
Hold that shit, because how often do you know people make money and it's gone?
Yeah.
How many people win the lottery and are broke?
Yes.
Because they don't have the money muscle. There's a muscle
Yeah.
of how you learn how to hold money.
That's real shit.
And when you learn how to hold it first, get comfortable with that grip.
Get used to it.
Get used to it.
Yeah.
Feel what it's like to have those bricks in your pocket.
Real shit.
Like, feel when you
Yeah.
put that chain on what it's like to fuck up your posture.
Yeah.
Because that shit's too... and you get comfortable.
Yeah.
And then once you're comfortable and you've learned that new norm, how to carry that weight, how to be comfortable, let your joints adapt, then you can start to grow it.
Yeah, because once you learn how to hold it, motherfucker, you know how to hold it so well that you ain't gonna release it on no bullshit.
Exactly. And I'll
'Cause
tell you
know how
another
to
thing.
hold that shit.
And I'll tell you the other part. Let's talk about lifting weights. Okay? So I start lifting weights and doing bench press. You start doing reps, and you can do 10 reps, let's say. And then you put on a little more weight. You can do 8 reps. You put on a little more weight, 6 reps, 4 reps. The last few reps, when you're exhausted, is when you're actually growing. But it takes a minute as you add more weight, which is money in a lot of ways. It's a blessing and a curse. There's a burden to it. There's a benefit to it. But once you get comfortable holding more weight, you can hold that bar more steady. You can focus on your form. You can really but at the beginning, you're just trying to stabilize that motherfucker. You can barely hold that shit. You're wobbling and twisting and turning. But at a moment when you get to hold that weight, it gets comfortable in your hand. You're cozy on that bench. That's when the work really starts.
That's when you get cocky with it.
That's
know
when
what I'm saying?
that's when you can absolutely start to move a little different.
Hey, let me ask you something. We were having we have a lot of conversations, but we were having a conversation. This stuck with me, and I said I was gonna ask you this. It's like the way you explain real estate is basically the same as the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's like buy, flip, hold.
Yeah, what's the it's funny you talk about that. The first real estate analogy in rap was Wayne and Mac.
What you mean?
The Carter, shout out to Mac Main CEO, Mac Main for president.
Shout
Still,
out to
my
Mac.
brother.
Yeah, that's
shout out
my
to
brother
Mac.
too.
The Carter's about a building.
Okay.
And that was their analogy for explaining expressing who Wayne was a person. It was like, let me walk you through my building. Let me show you the ins and outs, the ups and downs. This is the Carter, me, fourth solo album. I came back around explaining this. The Carter is him as a human being expressing all the intricacies within his mind and his spirit. That changed my life. That made me start to think of what I would do. What is my Carter gonna represent? And to me, the buildings now are an extension of me. I learned that from experiencing that album, feeling those feelings, to start to build my own Carter.
So, that's a great analogy, and you put Wayne in there. So, if real estate was a mixtape, what would be the name of your mixtape?
Stacking bricks.
No, without a doubt. What would be your rap name?
Oh shit, Ari, real name, no gimmicks.
I'll tell you, first name, last name, like J Money.
First name, last name.
How much success comes from strategy and how much success comes from faith?
Damn. Well, I will tell you, that I've been around a lot of very hardworking people. Like in my business on the construction side, when you see the roofers, the plumbers, the construction workers that build these things, they work extremely, extremely hard. You know, our investors that are firefighters, these pension plans, police officers, they work extremely, extremely hard. So I thought so much that hard work, the strategy of hard work was, and you got to have it, but that's not the whole picture. When I look at my own life, there was a lot of grace. Mm-hmm. And my, like, I'm not Mother Teresa by any stretch of the imagination, but my work is my worship. I do this to build something that I believe is my purpose, that I'm actually pulled to. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so with that, faith is an amazingly important component to building anything, because you have to be so fucking delusional to think when you're sitting in something, you ain't got nothing, and me working flipping burgers or doing this, thinking that one day I could be a billionaire. Mm-hmm. You know what the difference between a million and a billion is? You'll like this. People say millionaire and they say billionaire. They throw these words around very loosely. I'm going to break this down for you.
Please.
1,000,000 seconds, okay? 1,000,000 seconds is 13 days. You following me? Mm-hmm. 1 billion seconds is 32 years.
It's a big difference.
13 days or 32 years?
That's a big difference.
It's a $1 billion difference. You know what I mean?
$1 ain't shit.
So meaning, you know, when you got $2, it is, but it's a bigger leap from 1 million to 1 billion than it is from 0 to 1 million. You make the first million, the second million's inevitable.
Yeah.
Because money attracts money. Mm-hmm. Just like anything. Good habits attract good habits. Bad habits. That's why everybody's mama told them, don't hang out with those kids around the whatever. You're going to end up just like them. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Every analogy that we've been, you know, hearing for years. But I say that to you in the sense that to believe that you could be a millionaire or a billionaire coming from the places that a lot of the people listen to this came from, place that I came from, certainly emotionally, places that you came from, is so beyond impossible that it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have faith, a relentless faith that something could be better and start to build that within your own mind, all the hard work in the world ain't going to do shit. You can work hard as hell at McDonald's, and people do.
You use it like an analogy as a car. That's what made me ask you that one time. You had said something to me about strategies, like the engine and the faith is the gasoline.
Yeah, that's a absolute. I remember the conversation very. That was a great conversation, by the way. You taught me a lot during that conversation.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
I think the point is they run in tandem. You know, they run in tandem. Back to the street smarts, the book smarts. You know, having, you know, the strategy, and, you know, think of it like what we were talking about, I think is, you know, you want to drive from New York to California. Let's just say you're on the east, you want to go to the west. Mm-hmm. And that's your plan. Okay. You got the car, you fill it up with gas, etc. You have faith that you can get there, all those things. But if you drive south and that's your strategy, you ain't never getting to California.
Facts.
Period.
Facts.
So these things have to work together. And one of the big realizations of my life is I thought that life was individual sports. I thought that life was golf or tennis. And it's not. It's team sports. Yeah. It's basketball. Mm-hmm. You have to have a team. Like we talk about, you know, Major or Tyler or Sandy or Arthur or Francisco or Tim or Anthony, all the people that are on my day-to-day, you know, core team, let's say, the skills that they have are skills that I don't have. Mm-hmm. And early in my career, delegation to other people, I saw as weakness. I thought that I got to do this. I got to shelter all the thing because, you know, when you're a founder of anything, mm-hmm. you got to wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
You know, you're the accountant, you're the marketing guy, you're the face person, you're the CEO, and you're the janitor.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
You know it all too well.
Yeah.
I know you know that. Well, all the qualities that make a great founder, grit, strength, resilience, faith, all the things we're talking about, those exact characteristics make a terrible CEO. So you literally have to evolve into a different motherfucker. A CEO delegates. They create systems. They train people to do the things so that you can scale.
And you have to be able to have the knowledge to know what person belongs in what position. You know what I'm saying? You got you got to give certain people like even with Shy, whoever, I be like, y'all go ahead, whatever you think. Because you got to get that kind of give people the inspiration that you believe in.
Not just that, it's also intelligence, because the things that I learned from Major and how he handles things, like his skill set of dealing with people as the chief of staff of this massive, massive organization. I say that all the time. Whatever you think, I'll show you 50 text messages. Whatever you think. What do you want to do? I'm like,
I'm on group text.
Yeah, I know. This is not my department. That's not I legitimately don't know the answer to that thing. It's like, not everybody wants to be Michael Jordan. You know, no one wanted to be Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Spurs are boring as hell, but they got how many goddamn rings?
Exactly.
And so that having the best players in the world is another thing that I learned, back to that mentor or whatever. There was never a time that Phil Jackson could guard Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. Ever. Yet they call him the Zen master. Like, meaning you got to have a coach. Exactly. You got someone that's looking at that level with you, and that's in different arenas. Someone that look at yourself in your health journey, becoming a vegan when you were, big bang. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To where that was an incredible change. You were talking to me about blood type diets and you didn't just know that shit. You
didn't want to know it.
You didn't want to know it. You didn't see it. It wasn't in your realm. And that was where the mentors came in. It could have been a mentor from a YouTube video. I watch YouTube every day.
Me too.
And if you want to learn something in this damn world, when I was growing up, there was no YouTube for you either. The world's information is on that you can learn any damn thing that you want if you have the humility and the desire. Like, I'm watching the CEO of Blackstone, CEO of Goldman Sachs, watching them in real time give conversations that I can use them as my mentors to say, what's he talking about for this, for real estate, for the economy, for geopolitics? And I get to hear the stuff they say, to where the mentors and the teachers you have, my best teachers have been in books.
Yeah.
Wasn't necessarily. So don't take that as be like, I don't know anybody that's rich that I can go meet with someone out there saying that. Listen to this. Well,
go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube. Go type in whoever it is that you like. You want to be a baller? There's 1 million Kobe Bryant interviews.
Yep.
That man watched more film. Tom Brady and Kobe Bryant watched more film than maybe anybody ever. And that's what it is. You find the person that's doing the thing that you want and you emulate them. You stay uniquely you, but there's like success leaves clues. And you know what else? So does failure. When you fuck it up, it don't happen overnight. You fucked it up incrementally. You didn't become big bang by 2 cheeseburgers.
Nah, that shit took a bunch of steaks.
It took a lot of steaks. And
that shit took a bunch.
All of it.
Yeah, that shit took all type of lobster tails, everything you can
Everything you can put in your mouth.
For real.
So
that shit happened in increments.
It counted in little increments.
Yeah.
Little increments. Because those little things, don't feel too little eating one little candy bar. It's just a little candy bar. They ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah.
But over time, and I'll tell you, same thing comes with money. A little bit at the same time, 7%. Compounded over time, doubles every 10 years.
Yep.
And then it doubles again. And doubling something that doubled, again, in days, it don't seem that interesting. If you look at the stock market, on a day-to-day basis looks like this. Lines, but you zoom out 20 years, that shit is like this. Straight up. So taking that timeline and realizing, and I know, some of the things that we might be saying, like, yeah, that sounds like a quote, some Hallmark card that I read. And maybe some of them are on a Hallmark card.
No, but it's the truth, though.
It's the truth because motherfuckers have been saying it for so many damn times that you took it for granted.
Yeah.
But it is the reality that little, like you look at a door, okay? You ever open a door and you look at the hinges, that keep a door? Mm-hmm. There's like 3 or 4 of them on every door.
Super small.
Super small. Small hinges swing big doors.
Super big doors.
Super big doors.
Real
so
shit.
It's always the little things repeated over and over and over and over that start to become. I saw Messi a while ago talking about, someone said about all of his success and this, that, and the other. And he said, it took me 17 years and 143 days to become an overnight success.
That's everybody, though. Like people, I think. So let me ask you a question. What you think make people not want to grind no more? Like to grind it out or do the small things?
Because Amazon Prime ruined and I love Amazon Prime. Don't cancel my account. But shout out Jeff Bezos, maybe the goat of all goats. It created instant gratification. And that's not how life works. You want to make a baby. Ask any mother. That little teeny seed takes 9 months to turn into a baby. If it takes 9 months just to make a baby, how long do you think does it take to make a life? Things take time.
Yes.
It takes time. You plant a seed, and we see it all through nature. That you plant a little seed, turns into a big oak tree. But over time, not days, not months, not even years, life happens in decades.
Facts.
And if you're blessed enough and you have the grace and you've been given the gift to be alive for those decades and you got all your limbs, you got your faculties, and today actually is Veterans Day, okay? All my love and my respect go to the people that sacrificed their life for us to have these freedoms. And that freedom to have this conversation, the freedom to have this discussion, the freedom for someone to be able to watch this on their electronic device that I don't even know how that motherfucker works. There ain't no cords. What happened to the cords? There ain't no wires. I understood when there was wires.
I ain't even gonna start that conspiracy shit because I'm thinking like everything is going through the air, right? It's got to be going through the air. Like everything is going through frequency, right?
Well, they say a fish doesn't know it's in water. So this is just living. So maybe we're some kind of fish, and this whole thing up here is a form of water. Fish don't know it swims.
So we able to communicate with phones just through the airways, right? People are actually communicating through the airways too, through their brain. I believe that in their heart.
100%. We've proved it. I did this thing. So there's this meditation teacher. His name is Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm big into meditation, as you know.
My brain won't cut off, man. I be trying, but that shit won't cut off.
Yeah, but meditation is a practice as well, meaning it takes practice.
Okay.
Steph Curry didn't become Steph Curry. He took 500 shots a day for 20 years, took 3.5 million shots to make 3,600 threes to be the best shooter ever.
Okay.
Meaning everything is the damn same.
Yeah.
So meditation practice, I couldn't sit still for 30 seconds. Now I can sit still for hours and hours and hours after 10 years. Of learning a technique, having a teacher, so just like anything, and it's called a meditation practice for a reason because you do a practice, not a destination. It's a thing. And Dr. Joe, what he's done, and I did this year, I've done, I want to say 5 or 6, at least 5, but let's say 5 or 6 7-day meditation retreats. And I'm not talking about ayahuasca or some whatever
You
people
did
do.
ayahuasca before?
Hell no.
You wouldn't?
Hell no.
I was just finna do that.
Absolutely not. Not me. Not me.
What you think? What you think about it?
I just don't. I don't feel like I need a drug to find God. Like
That's what it is.
To me,
it's not a drug.
to
though.
me personally, it's
I
some
thought it
kind
was-
of. By the way, just so you know, heroin comes from a plant too. So does cocaine, coca leaf.
Yeah.
Like, so don't give me that. That's just another way
It's a
people.
herb type
it ain't
shit,
for me.
yeah.
Yeah, it's some kind of herb. So don't give me that shit.
Say cocaine was a herb.
It's a leaf. It was like, no, but it's a plant. Motherfucker, don't give me that. To me, personally. To each their own. Like, to find God, I'm straight in church or temple or mosque. And if we want to party, I'm down. But let's call it what it is, quite frankly. But what Dr. Joe has done is he's measured what happens in your brain and in your heart when you meditate. So people say, I'm doing this, I'm zenning out, I feel good, I'm feeling whatever. What he did that I love, and I participated in some of these studies to like see it on myself, where basically he puts these things on, they use like an aura ring that you've seen people use for your heart rate, and they put these things on your head. And basically what they figured out is, just by looking at someone's brain waves, okay? They're in the other room, you don't know what they look, you know nothing about them. You look at the brain waves, and this basic pattern that you're seeing, they can go, that's anxiety, that's anger. Also, that's gratitude, that's joy, that's love. And even more importantly, teaching you a technique that can make your heart and your brain more coherent and move you from a place of anger to a place of peace. And me and my own journey, I was very angry for most of my life.
Why?
I don't entirely know, and if I gave you all of the reasons that I thought they wouldn't do justice to really why, I don't think. But I think a lot of it is, I thought that things should have been given to me easier. I thought that my parents should have been billionaires already. I didn't think that I shouldn't have to work this hard or do this or do that, but mostly from a place of being very entitled, okay? Mostly. But at this point in my life, I have peace. But peace wasn't something that came to me. It was something that I prepared for, using these techniques, using these practices, and also now being able to measure it. I can do this thing and put on this heart rate monitor, and I know how I'm feeling by how it looks, to where science has now become the language of mysticism, to where I can look in scientific ways to see how I can create mystical, unknown experiences and experience some very powerful things, some very powerful divine things, and not letting gratitude or how I feel be left to chance. I make myself feel grateful.
Me too.
I think about the things I'm grateful for. If I'm in a bad mood, I catch myself and say, motherfucker, what are you? You live in America. You have your limbs. You have a beautiful, like, what? Shit, motherfuckers don't have, there's 1 billion people that don't have any food.
Facts.
There's literally 500 million women that can't go to school just because they're women.
Yeah.
So, nah, I'm not doing that. And cultivating a practice or a technique to stay within those elevated emotions, where it used to take me a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of being upset, depressed, angry, poor me, blah, blah, blah. Now it takes minutes, because I trained myself to stay within that emotional state.
No, me too. That's what I do. I just reject any negative thought, because we get them. We always get negative thought, negative energy. Even when I wake up in the night, I'm like, bro, you tripping, man. Get up out that shit, bro.
No, and
You gotta talk to yourself.
Well, we have all this emotional spectrum for a reason, and I always say God doesn't tease. So why would God give me the ability to feel all these different emotions if they didn't have a use?
What's the use?
I think, well, everything in this 3D world, as I know, happens in two, meaning hot, cold. Ocean goes in, goes out. sun, moon. Mad, happy. Joy, sorrow. So because that there's two, love, hate, love, fear, I would argue, because I kind of think hate and love are kind of brother and sister. That's another discussion.
Yeah, me too. Though.
You can't really hate someone too much if you don't love them enough.
Yeah,
you be watching everything I do. You ain't a hater, you're a fan.
Yeah, yeah, real shit. Nah, that's real shit.
But my point in saying that is you need the sorrow or that pain to respect and appreciate the joy when it comes. Because if you didn't have the other side of it, it would just be how it is. It wouldn't be happy or sad. It would just be what it is. So you need the other side of it to appreciate and understand what this one is. You need it because darkness, as an example, isn't its own thing. It's just the absence of light.
Yeah.
And same thing goes with every other experience. So you get angry in a certain moment. Great. Why did I get angry? This and this happened. Okay. Now that I'm joyous and I overcame that thing, I can really appreciate all of the ways that it got me to that point.
So now that you built this huge empire, how do you deal with people that feel entitled to what you got?
Man, that's a challenge. That's a challenge for me still because, and I think it's a challenge for me if I'm being really honest, because I see that level of immaturity that I had in myself. I see that same thing in a lot of these youngsters coming up thinking that it's supposed to happen overnight, it's supposed to happen quickly. And I think it's mostly because I get frustrated with my old self, kind of seeing them. But like I said, the instant gratification of this generation from social media, everyone's commenting, everyone's posting their food every 5 minutes. Everyone knows you know too much and you talk all this shit, but people don't get punched in the face enough.
Facts.
Like in the sense
Ain't no
where
consequences.
No, like there's no consequences. And I don't mean that literally, but maybe literally. But in the sense where you say all this shit, but you're hiding behind, some fake account or doing this and this and this. But you're not doing enough. There's so much talking and so much imagery and so much quickness that goes against the laws of nature. Like things take time to grow, to marinate. There's seasons to things. You don't be planting seeds in the middle of the winter, you're not gonna have any crops. Like one of the greatest inventions of human or discoveries in human history is seasons. More so than the discovery of fire, because then we know we could plant. We knew it was spring, it was summer, and we go through seasons in life as human beings. Like for young men, and I can't speak for women because I've only experienced this one, but from 0 to 20-something, you're just doing whatever the fuck you're doing. Like you ain't got no plan, you ain't got no strategy, you don't know that time is limited, you don't know that your actions have consequences. But between 20 and 40, 20 and 42, 43 is when you're gaining experiences, you're gaining knowledge, you're gaining wisdom. And if you do it right, you reap the benefit. You get the harvest of that between 40 and 60. Mm-hmm. So knowing where you are in your particular life. And again, you can change that from a mentality. I know plenty of people that are 70-year-old young. Mm-hmm. I look at my wrestling coach who's been a mentor of mine since I was 10 years old. I talked to him yesterday. He's 65 years old and boy, he's gunning. He's making moves, starting new businesses, doing all sorts of stuff. But a lot of it is your mentality, but you got to balance reality with realism.
I agree. Like
there's a certain amount of being realistically unrealistic. You can't be out here just being delusional, having confidence, but if you ain't have no competence, then you're an idiot.
Complete. What's the balance of being a good businessman and an asshole? Because they say to make the money that you done made, you got to somewhat be an asshole to somebody.
Man, that is a very, very, very difficult question, and I can certainly say I've had my own failures in that department, without question, more than I care to admit. I think being stern is different than being an asshole.
Break it down.
Meaning, to be a very, very successful business person, you have to have boundaries. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if I'm sitting here on a meeting and I'm talking to an investor and my, assistant or my secretary just burst in here telling me about her day, I'm like, what do you? I'm talking. I'm talking to my investor. Like, you don't just walk. And so me saying, not right now, is different than saying, not right now, you stupid idiot, get the hell out of my, So there's a balance between creating boundaries as you do with all the other people in your life. And very soon, my goal by the end of 2026 is to not carry a cell phone.
Me too. I swear to God, I just said this, bro. I don't even need it.
No, you don't get to talk to me because you decided you want to talk
Man,
to me.
oh my God, man. Oh my God. I just said the same shit today. Hold on.
You're beeping.
I want to call my son and ask him, bro. I just told him.
I'm not surprised about you because you and I are always on the same page about these things.
Bro, I just said, bro, nigga, you said at the end of 26,
yes,
I said coming in 26, I ain't having no phone.
Yep. You don't get to beat me, tweet me when you feel like talking to me.
Yes.
And back in the day, like you look at the business people, you called the secretary and says, wait, I'll put you through to Mr. Bank.
It's a chain of command.
We're not doing that anymore. It's too distracting. You know why? Because all of big business is paying for your attention.
Yes.
That is the algorithm.
Yes.
Attention. TikTok, the more that they can get your attention, and I guard my intention as the most important asset of my life because what you focus on grows.
Facts.
Period. And learning how to control your focus and managing your attention is how you become successful or how you fuck your life up.
Correct.
And if I'm beeping look, there's conveniences. Don't get me wrong, but we all know I deleted all social media off my phones 3 years ago.
Bro.
Okay? And I get it. Look, there's a lot of people that monetizes their business, but there's a big difference between being a business person, utilizing your social media and your channels, which God bless them all, between just scrolling and looking at everybody's food and looking at cat memes. And I looked at my time a few years ago on Instagram. I was like, I pin on this motherfucker 2.5 hours. I'm only awake for 16 hours and 2 of them, and I couldn't even remember what the hell. I was so damn embarrassed. I deleted that motherfucker that day.
Bro, I just hired somebody to do my social media yesterday. This is no cap. I'm gonna do my social media. I ain't gonna have social media. I ain't gonna have no phone. I'm gonna have a phone, emergency phone that don't do nothing.
They need to give me a flip phone.
Don't do nothing.
I want a flip phone.
It's emergency
flip phone.
only.
Flip phone.
Yeah,
I want to go find a flip phone.
You just call me if it's emergency.
And my kids are gonna have that number. Major has that number.
Exactly.
And if you can't find my kids or Major, I'm not talking to you.
Thank you.
I am not talking to you at all. I have nothing to talk to you about. There's plenty of ways. If you want some advice, you can read my book. You can watch this podcast. But other than that, if you can't find Major and my kids, don't call me.
I think that puts your value up too, though. Like, it lowers your value when you're so easy to be accessed. You know what I'm saying? The reason why Michael Jackson, he was so big and it'll never be because it was hard. When you see him, they falling out because you don't see him.
Exactly. Well, people take for granted what they see all the time, to your point.
Yes, sir.
If they see it and there's accessibility to it, and I think it's human nature. If it's all around, like, if you see some person every day that, children of, Bill Gates' kids or whatever, they see Bill Gates every day, they think, oh, it's just my dad. Like, I don't want to talk to my dad. Or some other software person, that's Bill Gates, was the richest man in the world. It's the law of familiarity.
Fact.
That's really what it is.
Yep.
When you get familiar with it, it's like you get the car of your dreams.
Yep.
And how many times have we got some car we love? After about 6 months, this piece of shit.
Man, after everybody see it. After everybody know you got it, you don't give a
And
fuck
you
about
too.
it no more.
No, you too.
Yeah.
You've seen it so many times. And how many times also that you think of getting a red car, and you're like, damn, this thing is so super unique. I put this and this and this. Then everywhere you go, you see that same damn red car.
Yeah.
Well, there's some science to it. I'll
What
give you
is
a name that doesn't even matter, but it's called the reticular activation system.
What's that?
What that is a part of your brain that when you think and you focus about one thing, a thing over and over again, you see more of it. That's why rich people keep getting rich, because they see money. They're around money. Their friends have money. They go out to a dinner. Even if they went to McDonald's, they're with their boy that has $100 million eating McDonald's. Look at Donald Trump, President of the United States, eating a Big Mac on Air Force One. So the point is what you focus on. Your brain has a mechanism for it to grow. That's why focusing on your problems only creates more problems. So focusing on the things that you want and your goal. I have goals written down. My youngest daughter had this little pink little notebook she came home with after kindergarten, and I took it. She had all her drawings in it, and I was looking at it, made me smile. And I wrote all my goals inside her little notebook with her ABCs in it. Mm-hmm. Every morning, throughout the day, multiple times, in my bag over here at the hotel, I read them multiple times a day so that my brain keeps remember where I'm going, not where I'm at.
Or where I've been.
I ain't got no rear view mirror, by the way. I'm not concerned about where I've been. I don't look back. I'm only looking where I'm going and where I am. And my goal at this point in my life is to be so wildly present no matter where I am. Because where I am is where I am. That's the place that God has put me. That's the place that the universe, and people talk about destiny, all this other stuff. You know what destiny means?
Destination.
Destination. The place. There ain't nothing.
I got that out the book.
Destination. Yeah, and exactly.
What do you see that most people don't?
Well, 80% of communication is nonverbal. Okay? Mm-hmm. And what I look for are those types of cues first. And also when I walk into a room, I'm not thinking about me. Like, I become very outward focused. So a lot of times what I hear is, people walk in, you're at a social setting, guys trying to talk to a girl, you're worrying about how do I look? What's my, whatever. You want to worry how you look at your house first. Mm-hmm. Do your hair, brush your teeth, whatever the hell you do. But when you get into that setting, all of your focus needs to be outward on other people. If you're sitting there talking to them, listen very actively, because people will tell you everything about them, their hopes, their fears, their aspirations, if you listen. But so many people are stuck in their own head. Mm-hmm. And when you do that and you look outward, simply, you start to watch which people are together, which guy's looking at which girl, what are they wearing? You start to take in all that outward. So when you enter into that, you become very unique, because people can tell that you're actually talking to them. Mm-hmm. You're actually listening to the things. You're not just rehearsing something in your head, waiting to say something funny. Like, you're legitimately outward focused. And when you do that and you watch them, like, for example, when talking to people up close, like if you're sitting up at a bar, or you're at a business meeting, I watch the knees. Because the knees tell the whole story, especially with a lady. Break it down. For those gentlemen that are up there trying to talk to a lady, you're standing at a bar, and if the lady is sitting with her knees like this and she's talking to you, she don't give a fuck about you.
Break it down, bro. You can't leave it like that.
So you're like this. She's looking over here, and her body's over here talking to you, and you're at the bar. When her knees are in this direction, even if her head is over here, this tells where her level of interest is. And for you as well, young men, when you're talking to a lady, move your ass and put your knees in the direction of the lady that you're talking with.
Okay, yeah.
As an example.
Yeah.
And there's a million other little cues in that instance that you can watch. And when you listen close enough, people will tell you the things about them. They'll start telling you something about their mom, or then you know their mother's important. They'll tell you that, yeah, that stupid friend of mine, then you know that friend's a stupid person, so you can align with them. Yeah, that person does suck. You can start to make strategic moves to start to build a relationship around their hopes, their fears, and their aspirations. And if you listen close enough, you'll start to find things that are common interest. You can say, oh, she doesn't like this one dude that screwed him over. I got this one dude that screwed me over. And then you can talk about that. And then you can bond. You're like, damn, I like that guy. I like that person. But the point is to be outward, not inward.
I agree with that. So have you ever, what's your strategy on not misreading people? You know, is it patient? Is it what's the strategy on not misreading people? Because you know, we meet a person and thinking we got them figured out in one conversation, right?
Well, the first is you don't.
Exactly.
The first is to realize that you don't. And people are very complicated, and people change their mind.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, there's how many times, you know, do you make a decision and said, I'm definitely doing this. And then the next day you're like, I'm definitely not doing that. But the variable changes, something else pop. I'm definitely going to Austin today. But then all of a sudden you get a call and there's some big investor that said that you need to do this and this has to be done. I'm definitely not going. So giving yourself the permission, and this was a big thing for me, giving myself the permission to change my mind.
Them facts right now. Because we think once we thought we made up our mind, we'll commit to that. Like I told these people, like earlier, shouts out to my dog Grace. Yesterday she sent me something to the event, but today I changed my mind. I'm not coming, Grace. I'm just not coming.
And because something changed.
Exactly.
And something changed. So the way I look at it is, what I try to aspire is to today say in very strong words exactly what I mean. This is what I mean. And tomorrow, say in very strong words something else that contradicts everything I said the day before.
What's the difference between confidence and delusional?
Man, confidence comes from having a track record, meaning you have little wins that you can rely on.
Yeah.
That you can look back and say, I've done this in any endeavor. Sports, confidence comes because you put in the reps.
From your resume.
You look at your resume. Yeah. I've hit these shots over and over. So when I walk in, I move a little different because
y'all know I hit these.
Y'all know I hit them. I know that I hit them. And so I'm going to move like I do. That's confidence.
Correct.
To me.
Correct. I agree with that.
Delusion is when the feelings and the dreams that you have not caught up with your competence. Meaning, what you aspire to do and the things that you have in your head, you don't have a track record of that in real life yet. And there's a fine line between madness and genius. There's a fine line between delusion and being an idiot.
Yeah.
So I've been a very delusional person, putting up vision boards in my wall, dreaming certain things, imagining meeting this person, that person, feeling like it was to buy my first jet, to whatever. Very delusional. On Southwest Airlines, thinking I'm going to own my own plane.
But you somewhat have to be delusional a little bit to...
You have to. Absolutely, you have to be. But as I said, delusion only works if you have goals and grind. Mm-hmm. So the delusion that you have of me saying today, I'm going to be in the NBA next week. Well, there's a big difference between that and saying that I'm going to make another $10 billion in real estate. It's a decently sized number. It's a lot of growth kind of from where I am today. But I can see some type of path to be able to get to that thing and grind and work and have a process every day that's putting me maybe an inch, maybe a mile towards that goal. And then over time, there is a basis that the delusion can become reality.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. You're saying basically you could dream as big as big as you want, as long as you know you're gonna put in that same work
Every day.
Yeah.
And you're going to have goals and dreams are funny things again, because a dream is something that's in your head. Okay. A goal is when you take a dream and put it down on paper. And that's the first step to making it real, because you wrote it down. You got a piece of paper to hold. It ain't in your head anymore.
I gotta start writing shit down.
You have to start writing. Should I write it every single day? You
I
write it.
I got this shit in my head.
You write it. You write it down. And again, that's the first step to making it. You can hold it. I can hold that paper now.
Yeah.
I can says I want $100 billion. Okay. I have $100 billion. Money's still printed on. It's actually not paper, but let's call it paper.
You said in the book, because I read the book, you said you wrote yourself $1 billion check.
I did.
Walked around with it for how long?
I did. And I still to this day, at this moment, when you come to my house in Austin, I have a room that I call the Dream Lab. And in there, I have vision boards that were made by a professional graphic designer that put my, face on these certain covers and certain financial goals, spiritual goals, stuff with my kids, things I want to achieve. And I go in the lab and I actively dream and I think about them and I look at those pictures. I look at them. I have a wall of some of my mentors, both dead and alive, from Ralph Waldo Emerson, Mark Twain, to Jeff Bezos, to, Mark Zuckerberg, whatever it is. And I have their pictures on my wall and I go and look at them. And I think about them. I pray for them. I imagine talking with them. I imagine with Zuckerberg walking on the beach at our compounds in Hawaii, talking about something, meeting with Elon Musk at, the Gigafactory, which is next to a big industrial project, that we own, and laughing together, talking together. And I can see that. And then I get back to work with what's in front of me. Mm-hmm. And I don't let that drive my day, but I think of it. So you started to play golf recently. I don't play golf. I'll give you a golf analogy. To go big, you got to go small. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to go up, you're going to hit your first drive. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get up there and you look down the course, 400 yards down in the future. You glance at where you want to go, but all of your attention is right there on that ball right in front of you. Mm-hmm. Same thing with dreams and goals. Glance outward to the big dream and put every drop of focus on that move that's right in front of you.
And the thing about golf is, the main thing about golf, and when your swing is, keep your head down.
Keep your head
down on that ball. Because if you can't really get down there until you focus on this little bitty ball, right?
Little bitty ball on a big ass green space. I'm surprised you find the motherfucking ball. Meaning,
I'm hitting my shit straight now.
I got you.
I'm hitting the bitch
But I'm
straight.
saying the course is bigger than a motherfucker. The ball's this big.
Yeah.
Same thing with life. You have this big goal, this big thing. You want to hit it down with this little teeny thing that you think is in front of me, but that's the whole game. And you walk and you hit it again.
Yep.
And you had to take a mulligan. You get stuck in the sand. The shit hits the tree. And it's the same damn thing, but you keep moving down the fairway.
Exactly.
But big, small.
And some shots, and in golf, your bad shots end up good. Sometimes your good shots end up bad. Just like life. That's the truth. You gotta keep making shots.
You never know what's gonna break. I had a thing when I was starting out my career. But I always tell everybody, always take the meeting. Always take the meeting. Someone's like, this guy's that guy. He's not or whatever. You never know who that dude knows. You never know who's sitting at that restaurant. You don't need someone overhearing you saying. So I always took the meeting. If a meeting popped up and it was legitimate or someone that was something, I always took it. Always took it. And guess what? Those bad meetings, like you said, or this dude, whatever, that was the junior associate at the firm, introduced me to the baller that wrote me a check for $50 million.
Exactly.
But when you always take the meeting, that means you're putting in the work.
Facts.
You're respecting what that hustle is, and you're not letting that dream stay delusion. The delusion becomes a dream. A dream is written down on paper. It becomes a goal. And then when you have a goal, you break the goal down into its parts. You chunk it into all these different little pieces, because some big goal, you find little pieces of an action that you can take today. And if you keep doing that over time,
here we go.
the results are inevitable.
Facts. You always make references about like hip hop. What part of that did inspired you to be who you are today?
It's mission critical. Without hip hop, I wouldn't be here. Without the motivation, without the rhythm, without the swag, without the dream of these guys, coming from less than nothing, like me looking at, and it gave me a lot of thing of saying I'm listening to Wayne, or listening to Hove, listen to whoever it was over the years, and just like anything, you go through phases of which artist was taught, and I can now take parts of my life and see which artist was speaking to me in that
in the moment,
in that certain moments. Like Wayne has been in every part of my life in a certain way, because I was like, this kid's 12 years old rapping over the phone to Baby. Now he's almost 40 years old and he's still doing it. Like, so I've been able to grow, with him throughout the entire thing. But the messaging, the content, the self-reliance that comes into it made me think in one way, wow, maybe I could do it. Maybe if I could do it too. And so that inspiration, and I told Mac, one time when he was down in Austin, I was like, I feel like y'all wrote the soundtrack to my life, and if it wasn't for that, like I said, it wouldn't be possible. And there's certain artists that have a special place in my heart. And I'm an English literature major. I'm a book, freak. And some of these artists I put as influential for me as some of the greatest artists ever.
Who's your top? Who's your favorite?
Man, the favorite, best. Which one?
Favorite first.
Favorites is Lil Wayne, for sure. And again, just because he was born on 9/27/1982. I was born in 1982. 9/27 are my lucky numbers. And to watch him go and continue have this relentless output, because he's the most prolific rapper ever in terms of his content. And when I think about the best ever, Eminem comes up on that list very quickly for a lot of reasons. But Wayne has so much work. He has thousands of songs we've never even heard. Just look at the dedications. By Drought 3, he was one of the best rappers of all time, and he just keeps doing it over and over. And to me, the output over 30 years and continuously reinventing, not to mention creating some of the biggest artists, that Drake and Nicki alone, alone, like, shows me the leadership, the evolution, and the motherfucker's got bars. So, I mean, in a place that blows my mind. But he absolutely blows my mind. Like, who's read the greatest poetry of the greatest artists in history, and this man makes me I go listen to stuff from 2002. I'm like, this motherfucker is a goddamn genius.
So would you say he the GOAT?
Yeah, for sure. Well, as a rapper and a lyricist and as a rapper, oh yeah. It's not even close. And I said there's others that have this lyrical prowess and dominance, like an Eminem, but Eminem only has a few albums in comparison. Wayne has 1,000 more songs that have lyrical genius that M chose to raise his daughters. He chose not to tour as much. He chose to, he chose a life that was fulfilling to him. Wayne chose to record every single day and create thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of absolute masterpieces. So you cannot compare it to his catalog. So he's number one because of the sheer volume of great non-diluted content. Drake is the most successful rapper of all time overall, to me.
Rapper?
Rapper.
So
artist.
what we gonna say about Jigga? He the most successful businessman that raps.
And I think that's right.
But he's not the most successful rapper.
He's pound for pound the best to do it holistically. He went from hustler to rapper, used that Hov's is everybody's top 5. For me personally, he's in my top 2, and sometimes I wonder if he's not 2, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But he had a clear path of becoming, he said it straight, I'm not a businessman, I am a businessman. Like he didn't hide that he was out to create and be a CEO, not just a rapper. Wayne is a rapper.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And he evolved it.
He's music. He's music.
He's the music. He said it. I am music. And that's his craft. Hove used rap as the way, like, you know, he explains it. He explains it very, very clearly. I can make 40 off a brick, but one rhyme could beat that. You know, he explains that this was the surest way of the lowest risk for me to get out of the position I was in, get enough money, and then open the market up. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. This is from the blueprint, 2001. He laid out what he was going to do, and he did exactly that. He created some of the biggest artists in the world as well. Then he stepped over and became the CEO. He cut his partner out, bought Rockefeller Record. Then now he did what he said.
I remember you telling me we was in New York that everything that you're doing was already mapped out. Like you know where you was gonna be at 5 years ago. You know where you're gonna be, and you know where you're gonna be at in the next 5 years. That just kind of made me be like, damn, Bank, you gotta get on your shit, cause I don't know where the fuck. I know where I want to be at, but I don't have it wrote down where I'm gonna be. Like you saying, like I know what I'm gonna make this month, next month. I know, like you got your shit mapped out.
I have it. Well, you know, if you tell Apple Maps, I just want to go eat, where's it going to take you? You got to type the address in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. Very simple. And by the way, you leave grace, just like you're in Apple Maps. Sometimes it takes you some weird ass way through some backwoods or this or that, but you end up at that location. And that's the formula. Write down where you're going, and then let grace and guidance take you off those paths, off the beaten path. You stopped at a red light, you hit traffic. So when I know where I'm going, that's what I mean. I know where I'm going, and I know why I'm going there. Like what I always think is, I know what I want and why I want it. Okay? How is none of my fucking business.
Back to the culture, man. When you hear the word grind, what artists come to your head?
Whoa. I mean, Hove for sure. You know, we covered that, but there's a couple artists for me personally, like Nipsey was very, very instrumental because not only did he speak about higher level things like Nas, like explain poetics, like in the brain that Nas has, like shout out to Nas, Godson, Streets Disciple, legend beyond words. Nipsey had a way of speaking spiritual things, but being a cold hustler, like just having a way of marrying them. So it was a very like visceral thing where there's like maybe 10 or so Nipsey songs, but I listen to them 200 times in a row. But for me, without Grand Hustle, without Tip, during
Shout out Tip. Yeah.
Shout out Tip. I mean, for me in my life, Tip and Jeezy, because of also where I was, like meaning when those albums were coming out, like after I'm Serious and The King came out, I was in law school working on the construction site at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then getting into law school, and then studying till 3 o'clock in the morning. And when to hear what he was doing, where he was coming from, the stuff he was facing, having 7 different felonies, facing time in jail, and still showing up and doing the work. I kept thinking to myself, if he can do that and he can overcome those odds, for me, I could too. And the same for Jeezy, because hearing this story of transitioning from, being a drug dealer and then having these anthems like The Hustler's Ambition, Amazing, Put On, these songs like were what kept me getting to put on for my own goddamn city.
Real shit. You putting on for Austin. Yeah. Hey, who inspired you most? The businessman who started broke, or the artist who stayed independent?
Well, I think the artist, because I think of myself as an artist. My career is about taking things that haven't happened and producing them into reality. And that's buildings, going from a blueprint, taking a field and turning it into a building, taking this idea of, wanting to be an attorney and making that happen. So my career is about turning dreams to goals and making them reality. That's what I do. And the sky is my canvas. That's why I put the biggest buildings in the world in them. And ultimately, so when I see an artist that has that independence, they're valuing freedom over quickness. And there's something that I admire about that profoundly. And right now, my favorite rapper right now, and for many, many years, is Russ.
Shouts out to Russ.
Shout out to Russ.
That's my dog. Yeah.
I've been listening to Russ since, Manifest came out. The first concert I ever took my kids to was a Russ concert.
Okay.
And they were mad he didn't play Small Talk. They were mad he didn't do the Utah Freestyle and some of these others, meaning they knew his work so well. And for him to be offered $50 million for a catalog and say no is an unbelievable feat. And this man is mixing, mastering, engineering, producing. He says something kind of funny, is like, he said, my accountant said there's no return like a Russ song. And I think about that as all he needs is electricity. This dude's making the beats and he's rapping on top of them and he's putting them out himself. I know what that's like. Like, I know for myself what that means to start your own business, to raise all the money, to find all the deals, to do the financing. And I know the level of resilience it takes to do that. And so for me, watching him, the album Santiago he put out, Santiago is the main character of a book called The Alchemist.
Yeah,
and
that's my book.
It's written by a man named Paulo Coelho. That's an absolute genius. Paulo Coelho retweeted Santiago. And to me, that was a defining moment where I said, God damn, like, you took this character, you took this literary thing, you brought it into relevant culture, and the author himself posted it. It's a very, very, very moving moment, and that motherfucker has bars.
Yeah.
He is a dangerous motherfucker, but he's also deep. He can sing, he can rap, and there's only a few people that are able to have that many characteristics. So shout out to Russ, keep going. I'm a fan. My kids are fans.
I'm gonna link y'all up. Let me ask you a question. Who in hip hop do you think actually move like a CEO and not just talk?
50.
For sure.
To me, Curtis Jackson is one of the baddest motherfuckers, period.
I agree.
For so many different reasons. First of all, when 50 came through, nobody's first album did that. Not that level of change. When In the Club came and you first heard that you were like, this is the new shit. I don't know what this is, but God fucking damn, he's hanging from upside down, doing whatever, and Dre and Em are there in the lab creating this thing. And boy,
yeah.
That motherfucker slapped like in a way that was, I was in college and it was insane. And then for him to reinvent himself and become you know how hard it is to do TV and film? It is one of the hardest damn industries ever. Every Tom, Dick, and Larry thinks they can make a movie or make a show. This dude went from doing rap and staying loyal, by the way. Do you see the way he stands with Eminem?
Yeah.
When Eminem is around, 50 stands behind him.
Oh, no one. When he not around, too.
No, in the way that
Yeah.
their relationship, his loyalty, his, respect and admiration and not 50's been 50 since day one.
Yeah.
If he's all over you now and you see him, busting on Puff or busting, that's 50 is going to speak his mind. He is wildly authentic. And he, most importantly, as a CEO, moved into one of the most difficult, hardest industries on earth in film and television and crushed it. And is still crushing it and is still moving and has continued to push the envelope, reinvent himself, but not lose the authenticity of 50 Cent in the process.
Oh, no, he did it his way.
He did it his way.
He did it his way. He didn't cross over to them. He made them cross
To
over to
me,
him.
as a CEO and as the person that has that insatiable hunger, I'm picking 50 over Hove even right now in that sense, just because he's being so. And Hove is reached a level where he's sitting in the shadows making billion-dollar moves for the NFL. His wife's Beyonce. Clearly, he brags a little bit different when your wife's Beyonce. And so I know that he's doing things at a profound astronomical, level in the way that he is elevated, and I respect that and I admire that. 50 still has, in my mind, he's still in the spotlight, relevant in pop culture, and making industrious executive moves that we can also see and cheer for. And I selfishly like that.
Yeah. I know you make a lot of moves with like artists and help them, build, outside of the money. But if you could choose one rapper that you could sit down with and help flip their money and build assets, who would it be?
NBA Youngboy.
Why?
100%. Because, and what's funny about that answer is I don't really listen to his music as much, but he's the voice of his generation.
For
and there's a
sure.
few things about him that I admire. And you put me on a lot of that. You explained a lot of extra details about that to me over the years of the things you were doing. But he just did a tour, okay? Rap tour, doing 3-4 nights in the same city. Taylor Swift doesn't even do that many nights in one city. And did 70 million as in concerts. $70 million. Independent artists like that do 5 if they're lucky. And you see his fans, he has raving fans. Kids that don't have $2 are saving up their money to go to NBA Youngboy shows.
Facts.
He's prolific. He puts out music like over and over and over. He does it his way, to your point. And what I really also respect is I got to see him more. And I don't know him personally, but he has Baby around a lot. Like he's smart enough to put an OG that knows this game around, keeps him. I don't know their relationship or whatever, but I see Baby a lot there, and I see Baby talking about him, and I see the prodigies of this music that Baby has been affiliated with, arguably created whatever. And so I know that means he has his head on his shoulder. And then I see Floyd Mayweather on the other side, which I love Floyd Mayweather. I mean, Floyd Mayweather is by far my favorite boxer of all time. Hands down, the best of the best, from craft to discipline and to just fucking winning. Floyd hasn't lost since he was like 12.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't lose. He made $200 million in one fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's within a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
He made, nobody does, insanity. Yet you see the way that he didn't have the right financial mentors that understand the money business, the right financial, and for whatever reason, he's the best in the world at something. It's like Michael Jordan playing for the White Sox. I get it. Like you're the best in the world in something. You think you're going to do something else. You trust other people. But I would love to have seen Floyd have a phenomenal, financial advisor to put his money in index funds and this and that, and like at least keep the base of it. So a lot of that money came and a lot of that money went. And I'd love to see a kid like NBA Youngboy have a great finance, and I'm not a financial advisor. You know, I'm a private equity real estate investment banker, basically. But I'd love to see him be surrounded by some great accountants, some great financial advisors, and structure him to be able to grow, to turn that money into wealth, which is not the same thing, because wealth makes money for you when you ain't doing shit anymore. And rap's a young man's game, and you might be on top of it, but at one point, somebody else comes up, and it's going to be their time.
Kendrick or Drake?
Drake, hands down. Not even comparable. It's embarrassing that they're even compared.
Huh? Why you say that? You don't think they're in the same category?
I personally, first of all, no, I don't. I do not. No, I don't. I think Drake is head and shoulders above in every statistical category. And when all this beef started, okay, and I don't personally look, I'm sure Kendrick is a really good dude. I don't know him personally. I don't like his music. And I think rap, and the best songs he ever made were Mike Will beats. So shout out to Mike Will. Like, the best songs that I like at Kendrick, the beats are so good that you can say anything and they're great.
Shouts out to Mike, man.
And so rap music has a lot to do with your voice. Okay, there's a voice. Like, Rick Ross is an easy example. Rick Ross is a mediocre rapper in terms of lyrics, just pure lyrics if you read them on paper. But the voice, his presence on the microphone elevates him to a certain level. He has something. There's something. Biggie has it. You know, there's a point of where and I think his voice is too squeaky and whiny.
Ooh,
Kendrick.
That's fucked up.
And not to mention, when all this stuff was happening, the bars on Push-Ups from Drake and on Family Matters are head and shoulders, leaps and bounds above anything Kendrick put out.
So what do you think made the people gravitate more to Kendrick on his beat?
Politics.
So you don't think that songs he dropping?
I think that song sucked. I'm gonna be honest.
You being biased now.
I think that song sucked.
The song really don't suck. Like Drake, my man. Like 100 grand, that's my man. That's my man, 100 grand. But the song hard, bro.
It's not comparable. Not like us. If that's not like us, I don't want to be like them. Let me put it that way. I don't want to be like them at all. Family Matters or Push-Ups, this boy, that was, I think we'll look back on those at the level.
My bad.
It's all good. Say it again. You got to get
ahead.
this part for sure.
Good. Go ahead.
I think if you listen to Push-Ups, okay, the way that Drake articulates this beef is so masterful. And then Family Matters just put the nail in the coffin. Like, meaning, I mean, it's like Ether is an example. The bars, I don't care who you are, the bars on Ether, other than Hit 'Em Up, is the greatest diss song ever. Even Hove at this point has to realize, lyrically, you got me. Like, you got me. Yeah. It's too much. Left chest, face gone. I mean, things that are, and Drake did that in politics, social media, and a bunch of bullshit made it look like, and not to mention he had 20 people trying to go against him at the same time, and he still bodied everybody. And again, like, Drake's not my friend like that. I don't know him like that, but as a student of this game, a student of literature, a student of lyrics, and you know I'm a hip-hop encyclopedia bank.
Drake, my man, no. That's
Drake
I would say that's my friend, but I ain't gonna say he bodied him.
Then
he ain't really bodied him.
Then I think that you are I love you, and I disrespectfully disagree.
I can't say he bodied him. It was a tie.
There ain't no tie.
It was a tie, bro.
I will lay down for you right here. We can put the lyrics up on a screen, and we can go bar for bar, line for line on each of them. And I would bet you, gentleman's bet, that on the other side of it, Drake has more wins bar for bar.
Was it the hype? No, was it the hype? Was it the
Not like us. Not like us.
No, he dropped the whole album too after that. No.
The album was weak. I don't care what anybody said. The shit was weak. Shit was weak.
And then they.
I would love to have this actual debate.
Then they won the World Series.
Bring me any hip hop scholar, okay? and you get a screen up there, and we'll put those songs line by line, the words on a screen next to each other, and we will compare line for line, word for word on all of them. And I'll have to take a gentleman's bet with you that Drake comes out the undisputed winner of that discussion. My opinion. And I'm a lawyer. I advocate for the things that I advocate. But in this particular instance, he cooked him. I disagree.
Yeah, he disrespectfully disagreed.
Disrespectfully disagree.
But
Shout out to Drake.
That comes from, you and Drake did business together too in the past.
Well, Drake and I
read it in the book.
You did read it in the book. I don't think, he doesn't know that story. You could tell him that story one day. But basically, I wonder if he would actually remember this story, because I was a young lawyer, and this is in the book, you're right. Yeah. I was a young lawyer in Dallas, and the NBA All-Star game that year, I want to say it's 2010, 2009 or 2010, NBA All-Star was in Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was practicing criminal defense law, and my boss at the time was one of the most famous trial attorneys in Texas history. Still is. My Uncle John, as I call him, wears a black Stetson, in a Brioni suit and $10,000 alligator boots. And boy, he's done more criminal. He represented the Juarez cartel as their defense lawyer. He's
the one.
Different. Vietnam War vet, Veterans Day today. But Uncle John doesn't watch sports, doesn't really, he has he's a different cat. He's on his horses, he's shooting guns. Anyways, so I'm in my little office, and I have the little phone here, and I'm doing my work. And we had just done a criminal, a defense case for this guy that was arrested for 2 kilos of coke. And I remember John saying to me, well, we got to walk him. I was like, why? We can get a plea here. It's like, well, he's an illegal immigrant, so if we don't walk him, he ain't going home. And we got a not guilty verdict, by the way. This is the first time I got to question witnesses. And so I'm sitting high in my chair thinking, damn, this is pretty cool. And I hear Ari, can you come up to my office for a second? Okay, so I go up to his office in this old, beautiful building in East Dallas. And he's sitting behind his desk with his boots up on his desk. And there's these 2 huge black dudes standing in front of his thing. And I'm looking at my Uncle John, and I'm looking at them. And all of a sudden, one of the guys turns around and looks at me and goes, do you know who LeBron James is? And I'm like, what? And I look at my Uncle John, and he has no idea who LeBron is. And, this was 15 years ago, 16 years ago. He's still LeBron. And I'm so confused. I'm looking at them, looking at him. Like, what? Like, is Ashton Kutcher here? Like, am I getting punked? Like, yeah, I know yes. Good. Well, we're doing this party, and LeBron is doing an appearance after the game,
like after
party kind of thing. And, we have this rapper performing, also, and whatever, but we just went to the club, and that dude lost his liquor license, so we're going to sue him. I was like, okay. Like, I was like, so what? He's like, we want to hire, John to sue him. I was like, sue them? Like, what if, would you want to still do the party? They're like, yeah, of course, but everything's sold out. Like, the whole place is sold out. We're not going to, whatever. I was like, well, it's my city. I'm living down. I think I know a couple people here or there. Not really, but know a couple of the club owners. I was thinking, I was like, but what if we could find another venue? And everyone softened up. He's like, well, that would be amazing. He's like, we paid him, whatever, $150,000, whatever the number was. And they were paying this rapper that I'd never heard of, like $5,000, to perform or something. I didn't really know his name. I was like, okay, so in theory, if we find a place, you would want to do the party. He's like, yeah. So I picked up the phone, made some phone calls, and one of my buddies owned this place called AM/PM Lounge. Whatever, doesn't matter. And he had some other thing coming. Maybe Jenny McCarthy was, showing up, or whoever it was. And I was like, would you God to show up would you like LeBron to show up after the thing? We're like, yeah. Like, so we turned some things around, switched the venue. And as we're going, they're like, hey, you should come. They were so happy, so happy. Cool dudes. And so me and Major and a couple of our boys were like, fuck, we're going to go to a party LeBron's at. Holy shit. So I finally was like, hey, who, you said some rappers performing. I was like, we're hip hop fiends. Like, he was like, oh, it's this dude from Canada. I was like, Canada? I was like, I didn't think people could rap in Canada. People rap in the mean streets of Canada? Like, okay. It's like, no. This dude, like, Wayne fucks with this dude. Like, oh, and he knows the dudes at Rapple. I know Jay Prince and those guys, and I'm from Texas. I'm like, Wayne and Jay Prince? Who is this guy? Like, what the hell? It's like, his name's Drake. Thinking, okay. I was like, so he's like, make sure when you go, you give him the $5,000.
$5,000 for Drake.
$5,000.
That when he first.
$5,000, and I'd never heard of him. Neither Major and I hadn't either. And I'm thinking he's there with LeBron, and you could see they're boys. Like they were, now who knows what. But then, they're, and I'm thinking, God damn, LeBron's here. Jay Prince, Wayne. Like, I'm like, what am I getting? Like, who am I? Like, and I remember going up and giving him the $5,000, being real annoyed, thinking, who is this guy? Canadian rapper? And he's like, yeah, he was on some TV show on, Degrassi or something. I have no idea what they're talking about. And lo and behold, I gave Drake $5,000 and gave LeBron the $150. And next I started hearing him all this thing. It's a motherfucker. That was that dude.
That's why you probably being biased though.
I am not being biased. I am being. You are entitled to your own opinion, not your own facts.
No, I'm just fucking with you. You say you can break this shit down. The science of the bars.
I'm happy to. I would be delighted. I need Major though. I need Major because without Major, nobody knows.
No, Major tapped in. He be sending me all type of stuff.
Nobody knows.
He see everything.
Him and Matt go back and forth on this stuff too. He shows him like some Wayne song from like 1998 or something. Yeah. Mac has like as a verse on it. And a Major is truly, honest to God, a rap like a
connoisseur,
aficionado. Pick whatever you were. And Major's got an incredible mind. Also, he's top of our class in high school, went to University of Texas. He's a very, very, very intelligent guy. Said his memory is like a freaking elephant. So he'll be, he knows. So if Major's there with me I'm happy to advocate for it and talk, but I need Major to help me do the research of the intricacies of all the lines and all the implications and what they all relate to. But I'm happy to go side by side of that anytime you want to. In fact, Rastegar would be happy to sponsor that endeavor.
What?
To do a versus between Drake and Kendrick of breaking down the lines of how much better Drake destroys him. Just putting it out there.
You need to have them there?
No.
Or just break it down?
Absolutely not. I'm not going to bother them. Men are busy. At least Drake's busy.
I know you lying.
So Kendrick ain't busy.
I don't know that, man.
See, you being biased, bro. That man's on the world too. That's fucked up. You taking this shit personal. Hey, let me ask you something.
I take the truth personally. You can't handle the truth. Just kidding.
Hey, let me ask you something though. You say you and Major been friends since like 7th grade.
7th grade, yeah.
Okay. How did y'all keep that relationship so tight?
I give Major all that credit, man. Like, this man is not only absolutely brilliant, but he's the most loyal person ever. And he has a demeanor, he has a calmness about him.
For sure.
As you know, he loves you. Obviously, y'all become good friends too, and he respects you so much. I have been like an explosion, and especially the younger Ari. That dude was, I'm very grateful that dude got me here because that was a very bad motherfucker. And Major had a way of calming that, and he started to make money before I did, because I went, I was in college, and I always joke, Major paid for the first part of our lives and I'll pay for the second part of our lives, kind of thing. So, I mean, he paid for my prep class to take the bar exam. I lived with him. while I was studying, paid for any time we were out to eat, anything like that. So he started to work after college for my wrestling coach that I told you about, who does like what you call Venetian plaster. So like, when you look at a wall and, in like some real fancy building, and it looks like marble.
Yeah.
Like his father did that for the Rockefellers, for the Fords, and he took that craft from Italy, and has done it for some of the biggest people on earth now. I mean, big CEOs, athletes, you name it. And so Major went to work for him to basically run that operation, running jobs, doing paint, and just helping do the operations around it. So we started to make some money at like 22, 23. I was still, driving my little Ford Focus and working on the construction sites and trying to find out where my, next meal was. I remember one time I didn't want to tell my dad or Major. I'd got like one of my first apartments.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah. And I didn't have any furniture. And mind you, I'm a grown-ass man. I was already out of law school. And I got this place, this little condo, and Major lived, downtown, a nice place, whatever. And at one point he's like, I'm gonna come by your house or something. And I was like, no, I'll come outside. And it kept happening. And he walked in and I had no furniture and I was sleeping on the floor. Literally, I'd taken a bunch of towels and laid them on the floor and whatever. And the look on his face was, and Major's a calm dude. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, we're leaving, and I basically slept on his couch for another year. But my point in telling you all that is when you are building a team, and Major's my partner, in life, business, the whole thing. He's the chief of staff of our company. His demeanor helped balance the way that I operated. So no matter what I would do, how I would fail, I would say something, I would talk out of term. He had this grace about him that was like, think of it like sandpaper on a sculpture. Mm-hmm. He would just sand it over. I'd say something and they'd be all pissed off and Major could do that. Well, he didn't really mean it like that, or it was just kind of, rest in peace. But and so over time, that's been very, I've been very, very lucky and fortunate.
Because you would have fucked it up. If you didn't have Major, you'd have fucked it up.
I'd have fucked it up. I'd still be fucking it up now. And I like this guy a lot better. I like the man I'm becoming.
Yeah.
But no. It takes a team, and that all goes up to him, and he shields me a lot from things that he knows that would upset me too. Like he knows me well enough to know where you need to decide what this is, like, and all this other stuff.
Don't even let it hit, bro.
Yeah, don't even. And he'll tell him, don't. Do not tell him.
Yeah.
Do not tell him. And he actually has, to tell you the level of trust. And I don't know anybody on earth that has this. He has a clone of my phone. So meaning he has my actual phone, my emails, my bank account, my text messages. So any text message I get, so Major gets them too. He doesn't, I'm sure, he's not reading through all my people, but he has my, and so there's times of a meeting, he responds and people think it's me. It ain't me.
Mm-hmm. Just like this morning, you was in the meeting. He when I hit him downstairs, he said, "Hey, he's in the meeting right now." Yeah.
Of course, quicker than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a huge blessing if you get lucky enough in life to have somebody like your
Dave,
like
man.
your
I
man
had it.
past.
I think he's still with me though.
He's still watching you, and look at this phase of your life that you're going into.
Oh no, bro. He kept me calm, man. Like everything you just named, bro. Like shit.
Well,
crazy.
you got an angel watching you now. So this next phase of all the stuff we're cooking up, maybe your boy's up there moving mountains.
Let me ask you something. How many of your friends do you get money with? They get money with you?
Well, like that were from before that are doing it now.
Just period, just friends.
Well, my business in a lot of ways has become the closest thing to me, that the people that can add a lot of value to the stuff that we're doing, they work somehow in the business or ancillary to the business. One of my, dear friends since childhood, he's one of the biggest brokers in Dallas. Mm-hmm. And so he's selling one of our condo buildings for us. But other than a few little one-offs, not really.
So let me.
And I've tried before and it doesn't work. You know, I've tried to work with a lot of different people, friends, family, and I find that wasn't a very smart decision. I should have hired people that are experts in their field at what they do in that position. Because people say, your work, your business employees are your family. They're not your family. You can't fire your family.
Shit. You don't supposed to, but you can.
You can, but they stick around. Like, meaning you still have to see them, you still have to talk to them. If you just have a regular employee or a worker, you fire them, you never see them again.
Yeah.
My point is, it's been very beneficial in some ways. Don't get me wrong, but I think the risk potential of it creating resentment, creating problems, bringing other issues into it that aren't strictly about the business is not worth the risk over time.
Totally. I agree with that.
So in a perfect look, if you get it and you find the right family member in something, then it's magic. But I think that's more winning the lottery than the rule.
Yeah, I can't work with my family. I can't work with family. I just can't. It's too hard because they're gonna take everything personal, and when it's just business. Like, say for instance, if you upset about something that they did that hurt your business, they'll take that personal.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta separate that.
And for me, there ain't nothing more personal than business.
Facts.
For me, because my name's on the door. For you, your name's on the door. And this is my work, as I said, is my worship. My work, this is my life. It's not just my business. It's an extension of me. And I don't think that's the case for every person in some way. They have their work, they have their job. There's a wall between you go to work and then you come home, and that's great. But for me personally, it's become my life. And so I have to be much more careful, and I've fucked that up along the way more times than I care to admit.
Shit, me too. Let me ask you one more thing before we get out of here. What's next for you personally? Like, what's next? Like, we know you're gonna continue to build the empire, big as it can go. But what's next for you personally? Like, what's some things you want to do that you ain't done yet?
It's time for me to start moving into the next phase of my career, which is around technology. And that means starting, for example, on several of our developments, we're starting to 3D print houses. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but real estate for me was about foundation, because everything is real estate. This podcast we're shooting is in a building. Rockets have to take off from land. Your car drives on the road. It's all real estate. So that was a lot of what real estate meant to me early, was the foundational piece that no matter what I was going to do in life, it needed to be somewhere.
Yeah.
So if we're going to start a technology company, they need an office, right? Well, go in one of my buildings. You want to do the cloud or the data center, the cloud lives in a Rastegar building. And so, but this is the point now where I start evolving my focus into the technology and into the innovation side of changing the archaic ways that real estate is run. The way we build a single family house in America hasn't changed for 50 years. So now starting to think if we can 3D print this house, and then we can start moving into robotics, of how the robotics are going to take the AI and then build the house. And we can then build it, instead of 9 months to build a house, we can do it in 6 weeks. We can start lowering the pricing, and it can start to help me work a little bit more on my purpose in this world, which is to increase the standard of living for how people live and work.
I agree.
That's how I see the world. And so if we take all the people that are unhoused all over the world, and if we can 3D print houses in places all over the world at a cost of 1/20th of what it takes to build a house, I can start working on some of the humanitarian efforts that I have in my longer scope, along with using the power of AI and technology and robotics to hit scale and start to hit scope at an exponential level beyond anything I personally ever could have done or anything I could have imagined.
What would it take for you to invest in something that you know nothing about, but like you said, if you like the person, you invest in them?
If they're the best player in the world at what that is, then I'm interested.
In the world?
In whatever it
Or
is.
do they have
you
potential?
said if I don't know them. I'm not... See,
I'm saying if you don't know the business.
if I don't understand the business, I need to know that person is an absolute expert in that business. If I don't know the business. You know, and then I bucket my time where I say, if there's something that I'm very interested in and I'm dabbling, that gets a certain amount of my money and a certain amount of my time. If it's going to be something I know nothing about, and I have, like, if Sam Altman, CEO of, you know, whatever, ChatGPT, OpenAI, says, hey, I want to start a new AI company, I don't know that man from Adam, I'll give him money.
Yeah, because he know what he's doing.
I know he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I don't, Steve Jobs used to say, you know, don't hire smart people to tell them what to do. Hire smart people to tell you what to do.
Yeah, them facts.
And so I have a sliding scale around what's my own interest of something. But if I don't know them, I don't really like that, I don't whatever, but I know they're the best player in the world in that one vertical, then it's worth my time. But at this point, I want to spend time on things that I want to give attention to. And I only have a certain amount of attention. So media, entertainment is my personal thing that once all the real estate, all these other things are running over the next, whatever the timeline is, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I don't got a timeline. There's a way to touch people that only media entertainment can do, unlike any other thing in the world. And I think there's now a desperate need to have high impact content to bring to people all over the world. And this is a lot of things you and I have talked about extensively that I am personally interested in working on, growing with, and collaborating on. But if it's something that I know nothing about or don't have much interest in, but I know it's a great business, they need to be the best player in the world.
Nah, for real. I'm finna turn them motherfucker to Shark Tank. I'm gonna tell you when we get off. I got a whole portfolio of something to talk to you about.
I'm with you.
Huh?
I'm with you. Whatever you're doing, I'm interested.
Nah, for sure. That's dope, bro. I really appreciate you, bro. And like I said, man, just meeting you, bro, it just helped me change my mindset on a lot of shit. I'm already practicing on being a billionaire.
I appreciate it.
That's my every day. What I'm gonna do as a billionaire. I'm doing that now.
And now it's going to be written down on a piece of paper, and you're going to carry that in your pocket like I did the $1 billion check. And actually that I still do, by the way, because I'm still looking for the $1 billion in cash in my checking account. Net worth, future valuations, and the way you can financially engineer money and things like that is different than having $1 billion after paying taxes in your checking account. So until then, I'm still keeping the check in my pocket.
So, okay, so yeah, break that down. You saying you worth, everything you do and done is worth that, right?
Well, look, I put it this way. Like, the true answer is I don't keep track of it like that. I'm a process guy.
Me too.
And so building a $1 billion platform and building all the stuff that we own on the hundreds of acres, yes, it is worth billions and billions of dollars. But there's a lot of wood to chop between now and to get to that place. Absolutely. But for me, the platform and what can be built from this is a $1 trillion platform.
Yeah.
And that is where my focus is as a 43-year-old CEO, is building platform, not counting cash.
I remember I sent you some shit, right? And I was like, this is huge, bro. You know anybody at Netflix? These folks doing it? You was like, just hit me with 2 words that just made me feel so small. You like, think bigger. I'm like, bro, these folks, they getting away millions. You talking about think bigger than that? How big is shit? I had to reevaluate my mindset.
Yeah, but that's why you have friends. That's why you have partners. That there's a lot of things that you've done the same thing for me. And like just the simple thing of the way you taught me about NBA Youngboy, and the way that I kind of knew, like, has been very enlightening. You know, for me, just rolling up to Tip's office the other day and talking with him about all the stuff that we're talking about. Like, that's what we do for the people. It's a symbiotic relationship. You bring those things into each other's reality, but you don't quantify which is worth more or less, not with the people you love. You bring to the table what you got in the thing, and together you get to have a feast at the end.
Facts. Because Netflix is trying to buy iHeart. I sent you the article.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, you know anybody at Netflix, man? We need to I need to get over there. And man, they say, yeah, I do that. He said, think bigger, bro. I'm thinking like, shit, bro. I'm trying to get the first big deal for these folks. 10, 20 million. Like, man, nah, man. We going to Viacom. Nah, man, I really appreciate you, bro. I know your time is very valuable, bro.
I appreciate you too,
I'm coming back down to Austin, man, kick it with you sometime.
This is just the beginning. We're just getting warmed up.
No, we're just getting started. You got to come back, man. I think the people going to really enjoy this conversation. I'm looking at everybody in the room. They enjoying it. I enjoyed it.
I
Learn a
enjoyed
lot.
it,
Every
too.
time we talk, I learn a lot from you, bro, and I really appreciate you, bro.
God bless you, bro. Thanks for having me.
Where the book at? Where we get the book at? Anyway.
The book is on Amazon. The Gift of Failure. The first line of the book is, I hope you fail. I hope you fail a lot. And some people that makes them feel kind of a way, but I mean that from the depth of my heart, because failing is how you learn how to win.
Yeah.
And at this point in my life, I think the only thing I've got pretty damn good at is learning how to fail properly.
Shit, me too. I done gave away all the books you gave me. I need
Yeah, I'm
some
going to
more,
give you a
bro.
bunch more.
Yeah, I need them.
Yeah, you can go on
giving to-
Amazon, whatever, but if you want one, if you reach out to you post something in a comment, or you reach out to us, we'll send you one on the house.
Exactly. Nah, make sure y'all go like, subscribe. You ain't on Instagram, none of that. You erase off your phone.
I am not personally, but our team is. You know,
Okay.
the team has been doing a bunch of stuff, taking a bunch of things, putting out there, doing a great job. At Rastegar, my last name, at Rastegar Capital. No, there's definitely a presence out there that the team's doing a phenomenal job of pushing great stuff out. But they Major sends me the stuff that matters. When there's a great message that comes in, a beautiful email about the book or something, I definitely take some time every week to actively respond to the things come in, because they're very meaningful for me. So though it's not on my phone and I'm not scrolling through it, I have my gatekeeper that lets me know when the important things come. So definitely reach out, definitely say some words, and it definitely means a lot to me.
Why y'all never made a presence in Atlanta, though?
Not yet.
First time coming to Atlanta, right?
I'm sitting here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Proximity is power.
Not real shit.
I got some of the people here that now have the keys to the city. Like I said, I can't walk into someone else's city without knowing the people. Then now that I do, now the possibilities become much more interesting.
For sure. We need it here, man. Y'all make, what we got coming? The 26th
World Cup.
Yeah. World Cup coming to Atlanta.
We'll be ready.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm going with you everywhere. I'm not going to get it anywhere without you.
Come on. Whatever you on, I'm on, man. Make sure y'all go like, subscribe, comment to the Big Fat Network. Shouts out to Major. Shouts out to Ebony. Ari, you my brother for life, bro.
Love you, bro.
I
Thank you
appreciate
so
love.
much.